The story begins as Jati's school celebrates its West Java science champion. Jati becomes their first national contender. The crowd applauds while the headmaster asks him to speak, but the praise suddenly makes Jati struggle to breathe. Jati hears Jaya demand victory. So Jati runs again before answering anyone. Jaya finds him hiding inside the literacy room. Jati cannot explain the panic. He still calls Jati a champion who needs him. Later, Jaya says moving from Jakarta made family life harmonious. Then Jaya reveals Jati is his son and constant priority. Jati waits while Asi serves guests. She immediately checks whether Jati feels ill. At school, Junaid begins another test through a race. Then Jati runs while Junaid cheers off-screen. Jati places sixth and asks where his father went. Later, Jaya questions whether Jati only pretended to enjoy losing. Then Jaya calls Jati closer before discussing the trophies. The room displays every prize Jati has already won. But he says those trophies also motivate his own sacrifices. He wants Jati to reach a much larger future. Jati hears Jaya redirect him. The national contest pits Jati against winners across Indonesia. Then Jaya turns 37 competitors into 37 times more pressure. Jati hears Jaya demand total focus on winning nationals. But crying Jati hears that boys must stay strong. During physical education, Junaid calls Jati forward. Jati hears a classmate predict failure. Jati hears June check on him after the failed exercise. Then Jati hears Dewa's challenge before their fight. At the discipline meeting, Jaya insists that Jati was provoked. Jaya, Asi, and Jati hear that suspension replaces expulsion. The family hears perfection is impossible, but Jaya hears that Jati still attacked another student. Asi tries to keep both sides calm. At home, Jati hears Asi propose Tunas Merdeka. Jaya rejects a school without report card grades, but Asi says school cannot become Jati's whole life. Jati hears Asi defend his happiness. At Tunas Merdeka, Jati enters a school without uniforms. Jati explores the school's creative learning spaces. Meanwhile, Jati hears a teacher call for echo over the loudspeaker. Jati mistakes Zainuddin for Junaid. Zainuddin introduces himself as June's twin brother. Zainuddin says Jati may enter his grade 9 homeroom. Before filming, Yuna's lost voice threatens the student project. The students fear they may not finish filming, but filming needs a replacement. Jati hears classmates recognize him from his billboards. Dali dismisses competitive success. Then the crew considers Ibnu as Yuna's replacement. The film group turns toward quiet newcomer Jati instead. Then Jati joins the filming. Jati hears the director demand a stronger ape performance. But Jati questions what the director really wants. At home, Jati's ape practice wakes his parents. Jaya and Asi hear that Jati's school requires the ape role. Then he demands a normal subject behind the project. The headmaster offers reinstatement. But he expects Jati to win the national competition. Jaya hears Jati refuse, because Tunas Merdeka makes him happy. Asi asks what future Jaya truly wants for Jati. Then Jaya says winning opens every high school door. Jaya hears Jati accept his later senior high choice. Jaya allows only until the semester ends. Later, Jati enters during project instructions. A classmate plans memorials for unresolved national violence. A classmate explains that dyslexia caused rejection at her old school. Another classmate invites Jati to try drawing. Then the resulting self-portrait receives cautious praise. He finds Asa arguing with Echo during a reenactment. The reenactment shows Asa's family history during wartime. Echo cites his child actor career. Then Asa reminds him that this story belongs to her grandmother. Jati asks whether the reenacted warehouse is accurate. Jati hears Asa say, Indonesian families often bend history. Then Asa introduces cards called Family Gem. Every relative will answer matching family questions. She wants both project members to interview their families. So Jati joins Asa's project. Jati says shortness of breath only started recently. Then Asa's mother reminds her about visiting Andrew. Asa's mother hears Asa ask how parenthood changed her. Asa's mother says life becomes a journey of discovery. But she believes meaningful change begins within. Andrew matured after Asa arrived. Asa and Jati hear Andrew introduce Diane during the recording. Asa explains that her parents are divorced. Then Jati hears Asa say Andrew and Diane will marry soon. Andrew and Diane also plan to begin IVF. Jati hears Asa needs the scholarship. Then Jati admits his own parents are complicated. A flood destroyed many older albums in Jakarta. Jati discovers a box connected to Jaya's family. But Jati asks about an unfamiliar man. Asi identifies him as Uncle Yayan, Jaya's cousin. Yayan last worked at Horror Braga. Then Asi says Yayan fought with Jaya years ago. Jati refuses to erase his father's side of the family. Jati hears Asi demand another solution. The congregation hears Jaya ask whether Jati is a trial. Meanwhile, Jaya remembers an obedient child with perfect grades. The teacher answers that every person makes mistakes. Then Jaya and Jati hear that parents must guide imperfect children. Jati hears the teacher call children worldly adornments. On the drive home, Jati questions reluctant Jaya about his grandparents. But Jati starts filming the conversation anyway. Jaya claims the brother Jati asks about has died. Jaya rejects the history project and orders Jati to change it. Near school, Jati approaches Eko's solution. So Firda leads them toward her grandfather. Firda's grandfather performs Jati's fabricated forest story. But Asa questions whether this man is truly related. Asa says she cannot tolerate liars in this project. Jati hears Eko apologize. Then Asa asks whether disappointment is now forbidden. Jati withdraws after the lie. Another student says they understand his position. Asa's friends say she rarely listens to them. But Jati stops everyone from attacking Asa. Jati accepts her anger but rejects the pile-on. Then Asa apologizes for her behavior. Jati hears Zainuddin ask him to read about reconciliation. The verse demands reconciliation. At Asa's grandparents' home, Jati asks how holding baby Asa felt. Then the grandfather remembers happiness and gratitude. Jati and Asa hear that she was found abandoned. The grandfather was serving as an expert witness. Asa hears that the abandoned baby's cheek was injured. Then Asa's scar confirms her abandonment, exposing years of family lies. But Asa now hates dishonesty, especially from her parents. Jati films while Jaya avoids answering honestly. Jaya stops the recording. Jati insists that both parents belong in his family history. But Jati challenges Jaya's claim that hotel work is sacrifice. So the hotel keeps Jati near a good school. Jaya says many parents cannot care properly. Then he ends the interview before revealing more. Jati hears Zainuddin reframe hardship as divine care. Jati hears Junaid reframe exhausted teaching as student care. Then Jati hears Zainuddin ask whom he seeks in trouble. Jati answers that he seeks Allah. Jati finally asks for help for Asa. During the bee chase, Jaya hears Jati accuse him of never listening. Then the family chases the bee. Asi sends Jaya outside to follow it. Jaya says they must prevent anyone being stung. Andrew welcomes Asa's gathered family. Then Asa takes the camera and starts direct questions. Jati watches Asa's parents redirect her toward the cards. Diane offers the tense family a harmless allergy story. Asa's relatives hear her demand every hidden childhood truth. Then Asa hears her grandfather confirm she was found abandoned. Asa's grandfather hears her mother admit hiding the truth. Then Asa demands why nobody revealed her adoption. Asa runs while Jati follows her. Jati tells the panicking Asa to breathe slowly. Jati says few families could sustain such acceptance. But Asa asks about her origins. Asa hears Jati confess that he wakes feeling like a failure. Asa wakes, remembering her abandonment. Asa wants a reason for her own existence. Later, Andrew apologizes to his daughter. Asa's mother had urged him to speak sooner. But Asa fears she brings bad luck. Asa fears preventing her mother's child. Andrew answers that Asa must know one truth. Asa's mother calls her a blessing to the entire family. Then Andrew asks Asa to forgive him. Asa's adoptive family promises that she still has them. Later, Jati hears TJ argue that uncovering truth requires a fight. Then the group enters together. Dolly asks the entire group to stay close. Chatsa gives Jati her mother's inhaler. Dolly says an older student should help them. Then the others continue deeper into the attraction. Then Asa checks whether Jati can continue. Sudden scares separate the frightened group. Asa tells him to use the inhaler. Yet the separated group cannot find Jati's inhaler in time. Then the friends call loudly for Uncle Yayan. Yayan finally reaches the collapsing Jati. Asa hears Yayan call for a hospital. Then Jati wakes before they leave. The rescuer introduces himself as Uncle Yayan, Jaya's cousin. Jati explains that he seeks Jaya's dead sibling. Jati hears Yayan reveal that Jani, Jaya's older brother, is alive. But Jati says his father never discusses the past. The beekeeper rejects forced returns. Then Yayan asks whether Jati will approach Jenny. Asa and Jati accompany Yayan as he asks for Mr. Genie. The group follows a local man's directions toward Genie's house. At the door, Jati hears Genie identify himself as Jaya's older brother. Then Jati introduces himself to his uncle Genie. He built their shared dream alone. Jati asks why Jaya calls him dead. But Genie admits years of destructive drinking. Genie admits impregnating a neighbor. Jati hears Genie explain that Jaya had just married Asif. Jati hears that Jaya left Geni behind to protect his son. So Jati hears that Jaya's departure forced Jenny to become responsible. Genie introduces Meranti, his daughter with Down syndrome, but holding her changed how he understood love. Jati hears how raising Meranti taught Genie to nurture another life. The box contains grandfather's written prayers. In the forest, Jati learns his grandfather was a carpenter. Then Jati hears grandfather wanted his first grandson named Damar. Jati and Asa learn that Jaya chose the name Jati instead. Jati hears that Japanese forces kidnapped his great-grandfather. Jati hears that Japanese guards forced his great-grandfather to dig caves. Then Jati learns each generation of fathers grew harsher. Then Jati asks whether grandfather hit Jaya and Genie. A flashback shows grandfather calling his child stupid. Japanese guards make the prisoners work faster. Then grandfather's repeated insults link intelligence with humiliation. A healer blesses water for treating Jati. Jati refuses to drink it. Jaya sees more men gather around the resisting Jati. Meanwhile, Jaya drinks while Jati begs release. The men claim treatment is complete, but Asi says true Ruqya uses prayer, not spitting. Jati cries that he is not possessed. Jaya hears the healer blame Jin. Asi explains Jati's ape act was schoolwork, but Jaya rejects it. Then Jaya hears Asi insist that Jati is fine. Jati asks who caused his fear. The next morning, Jati hears Jaya withdraw him from Tunis Merdeka. But Jaya claims he is preventing Jati from becoming burdensome. But Zainuddin challenges the father's judgment. Jaya says Jati is not ready for freedom. Jaya claims sole responsibility for Jati. Then Jati says the next school no longer matters. Jati only asks to finish. Zainuddin introduces Asa and Jati's final project. Jati and Asa promise a journey through their family histories. Then their research shows that history exceeds any game. But life is also more than winning. Personal histories still demand to be heard. Then Jati and Asa ask families to confront their own pasts. Jati hears Zainuddin check on him. Jati says he cannot complete the presentation, but Jati asks Jaya to leave with him. Yayan emerges dressed as a caveman. Yayan calls Jaya into the exhibit before Genie enters. The assembled group hears Asiya call Jati by his full name. Meanwhile, the crowd hears Asi warn that locking the door solves nothing. Soon, the group finds Jati's key. Recorded interviews begin playing inside the room. Then, Jati's earlier struggle with Jaya plays next. Jaya blames Yayan for influencing Jati. Yayan says Jaya should tell his son the truth. But Genie asks who truly ruins families. Genie reminds Jaya that Jaya was the brother who left. Jaya says he left to protect Jati from their family. Then Genie says their dying father wanted to see Jaya. Genie says his family already has enough money. Their beehive dream succeeded without Jaya. Jaya hears Jenny say their father wrote prayers for him daily. But Jaya hears Jenny insist their father became a better person. Jaya reveals that his father beat him repeatedly. Then Jaya says he vowed to become different. Genie says both brothers were victims. Genie says he also needed help from Jaya. But Meranti grew up without an uncle. Jaya says their father caused Genie's abuse. The brothers hear that everyone has changed and made peace. Yayan asks whether the brothers are exhausted by their feud. Then Genie calls Jaya a hypocrite for forgetting their violent past. Jaya recalls Genie's drunken beatings. Jaya hears Jenny accuse him of never changing. Jaya hears Jenny dare another strike. Then Jaya says he has never attacked Jati. Then Genie explains why another blow changes nothing. Genie asks Jaya to become the brother he once needed. Genie says he stayed quiet while Jaya hit him. Asi finally enters and stops both men. Then Asi condemns their brotherly destruction. She asks whether brothers should behave this way. Then she orders both men to settle down. Jati needs his uncle, and Meranti needs her cousin. Asi warns that Jati may copy their behavior. Asi fears Jati will abandon them as Jaya abandoned his father. After the confrontation, Asa's family lets Jati rest. Asa says good friends always stay beside each other. Back home after Asa's family returns him, Jati welcomes Genie and Meranti. Jati plays with Meranti, while Jenny apologizes for returning abruptly. But Jaya assures Genie that Genie is not like their father. Genie replies that Jati is also very different from Jaya. Jaya returns alone to the old family home. Inside, Jaya opens his father's prayers. Then Jaya finds his father's prayer for Jati. Jaya asks what convinced Genie to return. Jati asks Jaya and Jenny to resolve their differences. Jaya hears Jati link reconciliation with Allah's love. Then Jati asks his father to love him unchanged. Jaya hears that every failure makes Jati afraid to come home. Jati only wants to remain Jaya's loved son. Jaya finally apologizes to Jati. Then Jaya and Jati keep repairing the door. Finally, Jaya joins Genie and Jati at the bee farm. Genie says bees are good living creatures. Then Genie tells Jati to keep his passion. Genie teaches Jaya and Jati that bees need conversation too.